Hello and welcome to another JavaScript algorithms and data structures projects tutorial. Today we are going to go over the Cipher. Again, my name is Alex Cannon and I build websites, so let's get started. So the Cipher is essentially just what's described here. It's basically where, okay, if you get a letter A, you're going to decode that into the letter N. So if we get this gibberish here in this test case, right, we're going to decode that to FreeCodeCamp. That's our goal here, along with these other tests, okay? So we need to do a few things here, and you'll notice over here that I added these two functions, all right? So the first thing I did when I was solving this problem is I created this isLetter function because I noticed that this line of text right here in the instructions that says, do not transform any non-alphabetic character. So immediately I wanted to get that out of the way. So I created a simple little isLetter function. And if you wanted to, you could use a regex to test if a given character is a letter or not, but I thought that was a little intense. So I just used the ASCII in order to check that. If you're wondering where I got these numbers and how this works, essentially what it is every letter in a program is represented by a number. So capital A is represented by 65 and capital Z is represented by 90. And that's how I got those numbers, and I also got those by a simple Google search, right? So I'm saying, okay, in this function, let's get the ASCII of a given character, and let's make sure it's within the range of our capital letters in our ASCII table. If you're confused about that, I would recommend Googling ASCII. All right, so the next thing I did was I was thinking, okay, so we need to transform every letter into a string, and what's an easy way to do that? So my solution was, hey, let's create an array and then go through every letter and transform every letter. Because another thing we need to do is we need to ignore spaces and that sort of thing. So right here, I create an array using the string.split method. It's also important to have these little single quotes or double quotes in here. That makes it so I think it just helps it format it in the array. And right here I'm returning right before we look at any of this content, I just want to show you that right here we're iterating through this array, right? This array of characters that we created. And then once we're done editing or doing whatever we're doing inside of here, we're going to then join that array. And what that function does is that turns it back into a string. All right. And also important that you have these single quotes, because if you don't, it will give you commas between each character. And our solution when we are decoding, say, this string, our solution is going to be FreeCodeCamp, not F, comma, R, comma, and you get the idea. So inside this function, inside this map function, which if you remember, map just returns an array that you edit. Inside of this map function, we have a simple ES6 function that's going to take in each char of the map. And then we're going to say, okay, if this is a letter, because remember, we don't want to mess with any spaces or question marks or any other characters. We're saying, okay, if this is a letter, then decode it. Otherwise, just return it. All right, so I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, what are we doing when we decode this letter? All right. So at first, I just said, okay, we have an ASCII for a given letter, right? And we're getting that ASCII using the charcode at method. So that, okay, we have an ASCII. Then before, from what I understood from the instructions, I thought, okay, I just got to add 13 to my ASCII and then I'm done. But that is not the case. What you got to do is you have to sort of Well, there's different ways of doing it, but basically, if it's, let's say you get the letter N, if you're looking at the instructions, then it should decode the A. Then A should decode the N, right? So the way I solved this is I said, okay, let's just try adding 13 to it, because we're shifting at 13, and if it's not a letter anymore, we need to do the opposite. All right, so for example, if you have a letter that's ASCII 80, if you add 13 to it, it's going to be 93. That's no longer a letter. And then because of that, we need to subtract 13 instead of add 13. And that's my thinking process. Another way you could do this is say, oh, if it is whatever the middle of 90 and 65 is, whatever is in the middle there, you say, oh, if the ASCII is less than or greater than that number, you can check it that way. But this is the method I use to check it. And then the next step right here, from char code, all that does is it transforms a number, an ASCII number, into a string. All right, so this just shifts one letter. I think that about sums it up. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like more videos like this. It really helps out a lot. Again, my name is Alex Cannon, and I'm out.